I want to begin tonight with a special word to and about Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers, all of whom are offered a standing invitation to appear on this program at any time. All of Donald Trump's defense lawyers have already failed more spectacularly in their representation of Donald Trump than anything they have ever done in their professional lives, because they have all failed at the most basic task, the first task of a criminal defense lawyer, which is to control your client. Donald Trump is out of control, spewing poisonous, hateful, racist, sexist lies about the prosecutors and judges who are involved in the cases, the criminal cases against him, or as in Fani Willis's case, still investigating him. And every one of Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers knows that every poison, filthy word Donald Trump has said about the prosecutors, every one of those words is a pathological lie. And not one of those criminal defense lawyers has the professional dignity or human decency to disassociate himself from Donald Trump's vicious, hateful lies about prosecutors who those criminal defense lawyers know have all conducted themselves perfectly honorably. Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers live in abject fear of Donald Trump, abject fear, and you can see that fear on their faces when they are confronted with Donald Trump's poison.
Deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged human being. You take a look at that face, you say, that guy is a sick man. There's something wrong with him.
Do you believe he's deranged?
President Biden, in April of 2022, said he wanted President Trump prosecuted and he wanted him out of the race. He repeated that in November of 2022.
You could see the fear on that face when he was trying to think up what to say other than the simple word no. It was a simple question. Do you believe he's deranged? The simple answer is no. John Lauro does not believe Jack Smith is deranged. John Lauro knows that Jack Smith is among the most honorable and dedicated federal prosecutors in the history of the Justice Department, a department where John Lauro used to work. John Lauro could have just said no, as most lawyers would, to that question. In a situation like that, if a defendant publicly insulted a prosecutor, any decent criminal defense lawyer would simply say no to that question, and the interview would move on. Doesn't harm the client's position in any way. But John Lauro was afraid, terrified of the word no, and you could see that on his face as he tried to struggle to think up an answer. He gave no answer. He just rambled. You could see in those seconds the terror of the possibility of him publicly daring to disagree with the pathological liar who he defends. And so John Lauro went off into a lying ramble instead of having the simple professional decency to disassociate himself from his client's lies about the prosecutor. When you defend a pathological liar, the filth of the pathological lies is going to get all over you. It is going to cover you. You will not be the same after defending every word a pathological liar says. And so the only things Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers have demonstrated so far is their complete failure to control their client, fear of their client, and absolutely no shame whatsoever associating themselves with the lies Donald Trump tells about prosecutors and judges. Yesterday in New Hampshire, Donald Trump went after Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis in his most vile way yet. He has already gone full racist on Fani Willis because she is a black woman. John Lauro chose to join Donald Trump's criminal defense team after Donald Trump repeatedly, publicly expressed his racism against Fani Willis. John Lauro is the newest member of Donald Trump's criminal defense team, And he joined that team after watching Donald Trump spew his racism against a black prosecutor in Manhattan and a black prosecutor in Atlanta. I'm going to show you now just a bit. Can't show you all of it because it's too vulgar, too pornographic. Just a bit of what Donald Trump said yesterday about Fani Willis.
They say there's a young woman, a young racist in Atlanta. She's a racist. And they say, I guess, they say that.
Not going to show you the rest of the pornographic poison that Donald Trump spewed with the full support of his lawyers. He seemed to have been referring to Fani Willis's work as a criminal defense attorney and a defendant who she represented. But he couldn't even get that part of it correct. Everything he said about Fani Willis came from the deeply perverted cesspool of Donald Trump's sick imagination. And he happily and perversely lied about District Attorney Fani Willis's relationship with a former client. Donald Trump has very boastfully had sexual relationships with many more people than his 3 wives, including during all of his marriages. And so a deeply twisted, decaying mind filled with a lifetime of memories of adultery reaches into the mud of his own lived experience and throws it at other people. And not one of Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers has any problem being associated with Donald Trump's lying about District Attorney Fani Willis. Not one of them. There is another option. I quit. Any of Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers can say that any day. And some of them have, but none of them have ever quit because he's a racist. They can say that I can never explain to my grandchildren or to history why I remain associated with an out-of-control, sick, perverted racist. As of tonight, every one of Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers is too cowardly to quit, and much too cowardly to tell Donald Trump to shut up. And a cowardly criminal defense lawyer is a failure as a criminal defense lawyer. It takes a beautiful, shimmering audacity to be a great and noble criminal defense lawyer. When they announce the sides in a federal criminal trial, the United States of America versus John Doe, the person representing John Doe against all the prosecutorial might of the United States of America better be strong, better be brave, brave enough to stand up against the prosecutorial strength of the United States of America, and brave enough to stand up to a cowardly, pathological liar like Donald Trump.